Vehicle repossessions are turning violent, and it could get worse depending on the economy. Today, I read an interesting article on mlife.com, put out by the Saginaw and Bay City News, and written by Cole Waterman, titled, Isabella County Man Charged with Trying to Kill Repo Man Who Seized His Truck. The author of this article referenced a 29-year-old man who opened fire on a repo man who was seizing his vehicle. He fired 2 shots in the air and then fired 2 at the tow truck. After the police caught up with this man, he bashed his head against the plastic divider in the patrol vehicle. He was charged with 4 felonies. Well, my friends, it's getting pretty crazy out there. I would hate to be a repo man right now. I'm glad this guy is okay. Talk about workplace hazards. If I were in that occupation, I would have body armor. I'm so glad I'm not in that occupation, though. If this guy is getting his vehicle repossessed, he probably doesn't have the money to pay for repairs to the tow truck he shot up. Anyone can get a judgment from the court, but then it's up to you to collect. If you use a collection agency, watch out because they typically take a large percentage. I've got a friend who was once a landlord. He has several judgments that he's never been able to collect. It's the reality that we live in, unfortunately. I read another story about vehicle repossessions today. This one was on MSN.com, put out by WJW-TV Cleveland and written by Dave Nethers, titled, Repossession Anger Escalates to Gunshot Outside Church Preschool. According to the author, a tow truck driver was repossessing a vehicle, and a vehicle approached him from the front and blocked him in. The passenger got out and pointed a handgun at the tow truck driver and threatened to put a bullet in his head. The 2 individuals pulled the tow truck driver out of the driver's side window and roughed him up, and then they threw his cell phone in a pond. Apparently, the tow truck driver called 911 from a gas station, and the police were able to arrest the 2 individuals. Here are my thoughts. I'm afraid this type of thing could become more common depending on what happens with our economy. Some people are desperate and can't bear the thought of losing their car or truck. Let's examine what I just said for a moment, though. It's not really their car or truck. It belongs to the bank. Some people have little to no equity in these vehicles. In some cases, they have negative equity. The problem is, it's hard to live your life and get around when you have no car, truck, van, or motorcycle, unless you live in a big city with good public transportation. It's probably not good for a relationship when you have no car, and I'm sure some people realize that. It's like that Young MC song, Bust a Move. He says, got no money and you got no car, then you got no woman, and there you are. Maybe that's what some of these people are thinking when they go after these tow truck drivers who are repossessing their vehicles. If it were me, I'd rather have no woman and no car and still have my freedom. You commit these crimes and you go to prison, and then you really have nothing. On the topic of cars, my 2004 Toyota Camry just hit 417,000 miles. It's still going strong, but I'm still thinking of replacing it sometime soon. I typed up a deal sheet on the specific Camry that I'm interested in and sent it to 22 dealers and asked the new car managers at each dealership to give me his or her best out-the-door price. One of the new car managers was a woman, and her email address was listed incorrectly on the dealership website. I contacted her to bring it to her attention. I disclosed to everyone that I was sending my deal sheet to other Toyota dealerships, and I asked that they try to be as competitive as possible. Only 6 dealers responded, which really surprised me. I had 2 dealerships who provided me with pretty competitive prices. At least I determined who is willing to deal and who isn't. In the end, it's probably not worth the time I spent doing this, but I really wanted to see how these dealerships responded. I might mention that I put on the deal sheet that I wouldn't buy a vehicle with any dealer-added accessories, such as paint protection, nitrogen in tires, pinstripes, etc. Now, on the topic of cars, I read an interesting article today on CNBC.com, written by Jessica Dickler, titled, I just bought a Jeep for my teen driver. Here's what I learned about the used car market. The author referenced Cox Automotive. A new report revealed the average listing price for used cars is now $25,361, which is a giant jump from 5 years ago. The average transaction price as of October for new cars is $47,823. Here are my thoughts. I wouldn't buy a used car for $25,361. If I was going to spend that kind of money, I would just get a new Toyota Corolla. The author of this article talked about buying a used Jeep. That's not something I would want to buy. I've never been a fan of Jeep or Chrysler. Jeep has been around for approximately 80 years. If I was going to buy one, it would be one of the very old models that was fully restored. I have no interest in the late models on the market. I saw another article today that caught my attention. This one was on Yahoo Finance, put out by MarketWatch, and written by Alyssa Wolfson, titled, "Who do people like me turn to? I am 70 with absolutely no emergency or retirement savings. So now what?" The author of this article referenced a 70-year-old who doesn't know what to do. This individual has no emergency savings and no retirement savings. I'm going to stop here and just say this is a sad situation. My heart goes out to this person. Life often gets in the way of plans, including retirement. With that said, I have to wonder why this person wasn't panicking earlier in life. You don't just wake up one day at 70 years old and realize you have nothing. It's got to be a scary position to be in. You know your best working years are behind you, and now you have to figure out how to survive, which may not be easy if you are getting a small Social Security check and you don't have a home that is paid off. Some people may be able to move in with friends or family, though. Others may need to keep working if they can find employment at age 70 and beyond. But what happens as you age and you develop mental and physical limitations? This is going to become more and more of a problem here in America moving forward, in my opinion. I think we are going to see some very sad things in our country. I really hate to think about all of the elderly people who are going to struggle financially. However bad this is today, I suspect it will be far worse in the future for younger generations. Many aren't even living paycheck to paycheck right now. Some rely on credit just to survive each month. This means many aren't setting any money aside for retirement down the road. Now, I read some of the comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. The first commenter said, 70 is very different from person to person. In my social circle, nearly all of them are still fully engaged with their careers. The next commenter said, when someone is 70 years old and hasn't saved anything, they will not change their ways now. I've tried to help people in that situation, and all they did was give me 1,000 reasons why it wasn't their fault, and they were not willing to do the work to help themselves out. That is how they got into that mess in the first place. Here are my thoughts. That comment is a bit harsh. While it could be true for some people, there are others who experienced a series of unfortunate events in their lives. Life can be hard, and life can be expensive at times. It's easy to judge, but some people forget that individuals often encounter all types of horrific events in their lives that can sidetrack saving for retirement. That's just my 2 cents, though. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.